Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today, this is the Iceland interest meeting for parents and students to find out more about the trip to Iceland in 2025. So, our agenda tonight: have a quick introduction to me and why I travel, and go over what the itinerary would look like, what's included as we travel with EF, our travel partner. Talk about safety and support, and then, of course, the part that most people are concerned about, which is that price and how to enroll. All right, so moving forward, my name is Clayton Hudeberg. I probably know several of you already, but for those who don't, I think it is important to get to know a little bit about me, as you would theoretically be trusting me to take your child out of the country. I teach environmental science, chemistry, and AVID at Walla High School. So a little bit about why I travel, or maybe more specifically why I travel with students, which is more relevant here. I do travel on my own with my family for the same variety of reasons everybody else does. I believe in going and connecting with new places and seeing the world through a different lens. And as far as like why I choose to bring students on summer trips, so kind of one of the things I tell people is if I want to go to some of the places that I take students, I can. I can go by myself. Quite frankly, it would be much easier without bringing a bunch of teenagers with me. I choose to bring students to these places because I feel like we're limited in what we could do within the walls of a classroom, and this is one way I could have the type of impact I would like to have as a teacher, which is essentially, to be really cliche and throw out a quote here, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. I do believe, however, that when we get to new places and see different people and different parts of the world, we do learn to have new eyes. It brings a global and better perspective, greater perspective of the world, etc. So, there's just simply some things that I cannot duplicate in the classroom. So kind of going back to our images over here. But one of the things I want us to realize is, when you go and snorkel on a coral reef, right? There's the experience of doing that, or there's the looking at pictures, watching a video, and talking about it. There just simply is no substitute. If you want to understand what a coral reef is and what it does, there's no substitute for going there and seeing it. Same thing goes for standing in the middle of the rainforest, which I'll be doing with a group of students in Panama this spring. Same thing goes for a place like Iceland. I've been to Iceland before, back in 2019. And two of those students, because of that experience, have gone on to study geology. They are now in college, working on degrees in geology. I don't think they would have known that that was even a potential path they would want to take without that experience. It gave them new eyes to view the world, and it helped them discover new passions that maybe they didn't know they had. EF, right, kind of outlines their top 5 reasons why travel is important. Introducing new ways of thinking, innovative hands-on skills, and so on. I think that number 5 is the one that truly speaks to me. It certainly does complement my academic curriculum, but I believe it sparks a new passion in kids. They come back changed, and that's why I go through the process of doing this as often as I can. So EF specifically, there are several agencies that do student travel. I really enjoy EF because it was started by teachers, and it was kind of created for teachers for the purposes I've already outlined. Their philosophy and motto: they are a business, they do make money, but their philosophy is to try to create the absolute best experience for kids. They want kids coming home changed. They want kids to remember this and take the experience and have it impact their life, and then hopefully have the motivation to go out into the world and have a positive impact. They want to create lifelong travelers. So this particular trip to Iceland, the trip is named Glaciers and Geysers. So there's several different avenues we could have explored Iceland. This one seemed like the best fit for me and my students. It involves 3 nights in Reykjavik and 2 nights in Volsvoller. Icelandic names are notoriously hard for English speakers to pronounce. But even in that kind of southwest neck of Iceland, we'll actually be exploring a lot around those areas while we're there. There is just a ton to see. So, first day is travel. Day 2, we're in Reykjavik. Day 3, we head out to the surroundings of Reykjavik. We go to one of their most sacred places, Víðir National Park. That is one of the best places to actually literally see where the crust is being ripped apart through the divergent boundary. You can literally put 1 foot on the North American continent, your other foot on the European continent. It's a really cool spot. We'll also go visit a huge waterfall on the scale, it's hard to tell in that picture, on the scale of Niagara Falls. We'll spend a little time kind of looking at how they do agriculture in Iceland, which is a very interesting and unique story. Then we head out and see some really cool sights in nature. Again, we're going to do a glacier hike, visit some cultural centers, some really cool landmarks. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that church, but this is a huge landmark in Reykjavik. You can see it just about everywhere in the city. It is designed to mimic what is out in nature. These columns you see along the side look just like the columnar basalt that is all over the island. And here in Eastern Washington, we actually are somewhat familiar with seeing it. Here's another picture of the national park we'll be going to, and one of the spectacular waterfalls, of which there are many. We'll then go do some sort of earth science learning for a little while. We'll visit the state-of-the-art lava center, kind of learn about what's going on beneath Iceland to create what we see on the surface of Iceland. We'll learn a lot about how they utilize geothermal power to do so much of their city, and take a little cultural excursion, visit lots and lots of hot springs and geysers. And we have one really cool experience right at the end, which is visiting the Blue Lagoon, which is one of their world famous, it's essentially a spa. But what's unique about that is they use the waste heat from one of the geothermal plants to heat these pools. And that bluish color you're seeing is like a silt that hangs out at the bottom. Part of the spa experience is the kids get to just go swim around and enjoy the warm waters. But the silt is supposed to be really good for your skin, in theory. All right, moving on. So just another up-close picture of the Blue Lagoon. And of course, every travel experience, you get to sample new and different types of food. So Icelandic food is somewhat unique. So the kids will enjoy a sampling of Icelandic fare. All right, so as far as tour dates, it is scheduled as a 7-day tour. So the way EF works is they do need some flexibility. So we requested the dates June 24th through 30th. So sort of the end, last week of June. They like to keep it for until we get pretty close to the actual departure time, plus or minus 3 days. So we can leave up to 3 days before June 24th, or leave a little bit later and get back as late as 3 days after June 30th, so July 3rd. So anytime in that window that summer. So when we get closer, making sure that we sort of block out those particular days from the rest of the calendar for your traveler. It's going to be really important. All right. So what is included in our itinerary? So we get round trip airfare, all hotel stays, the meals, except for some lunches. They kind of do like the kids to get out and sample lunches of their choice. The tour director, who will be with us 24/7, all transportation, local guides, sightseeing, and entrances to all landmarks and attractions. So one of the things EF really tries to do with the price is to make sure that as soon as we get kids to the airport and on the plane, they are taken care of. Now, they are, of course, going to want to bring some spending money. We'll talk a little bit about what's not included. But if they get on the plane, they've done their part through EF to make the payments, they're going to eat, they're are going to get to do and see every single thing that everybody else gets to do. There will be no, so if a kid happens to blow all their spending money at the first souvenir shop, they're out of spending money, but they're still going to get to go and see and do everything. They're still going to eat. Nobody goes hungry. So that's a really important part why they build that in. It's just to make sure the kids are taken care of. So what are the students and parents responsible for? We do need to get passports taken care of. Baggage fees. And so I kind of have a pretty strict policy about not letting kids check a bag on the way to our destinations. Because if that bag gets lost, there's all kinds of trouble. So I will teach them how to pack lightly and pack everything into a single carry-on and personal item. There is tips that we'll be saving money for. We'll talk more about that as we get closer because we're so far out. And then snacks, obviously, and then some of the meals. So going back to EF specifically, safety is priority. And so EF, aside from having the right kind of philosophy to match what I hope my students get out of student travel, they have support everywhere. They have an incident response team. By the time we even get on the airplane, before we leave the U.S., they have a plan in place for darn near any health emergency, other type of emergency you can imagine. They have 24/7 tour director. So our tour director is highly professional. They are coordinated, arranging where we're going next, what time we need to be there. They're always 2 or 3 steps ahead, managing everything. It really takes a huge weight off my shoulders. Really, once we get there, all I really have to worry about is making sure kids don't lose their passports and making sure I'm counting heads between every destination. So there's no way we will leave a student behind. So far, I'm batting 1,000. Every kid I've taken out of the country has returned home with us perfectly safe. And EF, if something were to happen, like a medical emergency, a sprained ankle, something like that, when we're out on the glacier, they have all of the support ready to go. They're anticipating that might happen, and they already have a plan for it. So they're also, through EF, they are an accredited high school. They can get students up to a half a credit, social studies credit, that is sort of associated with the experience of their trip. Now, the credit does involve extra work on behalf of the students, and that is included in the cost if students choose to do that. There is also the option to earn up to 3 college credits through Southern New Hampshire University. That does cost extra, as you can imagine. However, it is significantly discounted. I believe it's between $300 and $400. And then they also offer college essay help. So when kids return home from a trip and they would like to talk about their EF experience in a college essay, EF actually has people that will help read and edit those essays as kids write them. So again, this is an investment, and we're getting to the price. And I wish with all my heart that I could do something about what these trips cost. But anytime we're taking students on international trips and filling every single day that we're away with sightseeing and entrance fees, hotels and airlines, there's a price tag attached to it. There's a few strings I can pull, which I'll talk about in a moment. But the whole point of this global travel is you really are, it's just like we invest in education. This is investing in your child's development. Of course, kids can be just fine and be wonderful people if they don't experience international travel in high school, but it's just not the same experience. I personally didn't do international travel in high school, but I know that I would have been a different adolescent had I done so in a positive way. All right, so the travel team. There's me, who is considered the group leader. My job really is to organize up until June 24th. I get everybody to the airport and on the plane. I get to take a big sigh of relief, right, at that point, and My job between that point and when we get home is just to make sure managing behaviors and making sure nobody gets left behind, everybody stays safe and follows rules. The tour director takes care of all the entrance fees, where we're going now, where we're going next. And then, of course, EF has that behind-the-scenes team we talked about who's ready just in case something goes awry. So there is also different options for insurance. So you have global travel protection, which is included in the cost of the trip, as is the Peace of Mind program. The Peace of Mind program is nice because, something could happen in Iceland that might make it so that we can't go. It is a giant volcanic region. If April or May comes and it turns out there's a volcanic eruption and it doesn't look like the trip is realistic, EF has it built into their program flexibility. So if a student says, no, I really want to go to Iceland, I'm willing to wait. We could shift that trip to another time, but for my kids who are graduating and say, no, this is my last chance, I'm going off to college, they could shift their entire balance to a different trip altogether and maybe go to, it would not be Iceland, but they could go to Greece with Mrs. Tucker or the Galapagos Islands with Mr. Martin at no cost for transferring that balance. Or we could just redesign the trip and try to do so. Okay, Iceland isn't going to happen, but maybe we can hit Norway and Denmark, which have somewhat similar landscapes and culturally is similar to Iceland. So we have that kind of flexibility built into what happens. Of course, I'm banking on we're going to Iceland. That was the plan from the get-go. That's the experience we want. But at least there is that flexibility in uncertain times because things happen. Now, there is additional global travel protection. So it costs an additional $350, but this allows the traveler kind of up to very last minute, just total change of mind. So with the normal travel protection, if plans change or something comes up and you're not too close to the departure date, you can, I think, get almost all of your money back minus the deposit. Okay, if it's been too long, you do lose part of the balance you paid. You can, however, transfer it to another trip with no penalty. The Global Travel Protection Plus gives you up to 24 hours prior to departure. You can choose to cancel for whatever reason with no penalty with the exception of your deposit. And they do offer a risk-free enrollment period. So basically, if you enroll before November 3rd, so which would be a week from this coming Friday, you get 14 days after enrolling and paying your deposit to decide, you know what, I actually don't think this is going to work. As long as you cancel within that 14-day window from when you enroll, you get all of your deposit, full refund. It doesn't cost you a penny. All right. So, also trying to help fund the trip, EF offers some scholarships. The due date for ours would be for over a year. So that is one option. There's also fundraising pages, and what's nice about that is in a lot of fundraisers, a group of students will work to fundraise, and all the money sort of gets split evenly amongst all the members. The fundraising page that your student has allows any money they earn for fundraising to go directly to them. So if they get out and rake leaves, or babysit, or get a job, or someone wants to give, rather than give them a birthday present, they want to donate to this trip, that can go straight to that student and knock down the balance a little bit. So there's lots of cool options, and I have some things that have worked for students in the past to help raise their money. So what is covered is everything you see on the screen here: safety and support, personalized learning, all the payments and protection, itinerary, logistics, travel, everything covered with the exception of spending money, tips, passports, and a few meals. Okay, so next screen is going to be the price, and here we go. So as I mentioned, I wish I could do something about this. They are offering a $200 discount, so if you do enroll before November 3rd, that really helps with organization. I know we're really far out. The price is $200 less. And so one of the things I really wanted to do was to get this monthly payment to a manageable spot. So that way, a student who has a part-time job could make that happen. And that was really my goal. So I do have students who pay their own way entirely, every single dime. In fact, when I took students to Iceland in 2019, one young lady paid every dime of her trip. She got a job bussing tables at Claret's, babysat, she did some fundraising, and she had never left the country before, nor has she ever even been on an airplane before. Her first time on an airplane was going from Seattle to Reykjavik without mom and dad. It was just really cool to see her make it happen. One of the things my sister taught me when I was young, she's just a couple years older than me, but she says if it's important to you, you find a way. I know that doesn't always ring true, but if kids put their mind to this, they can make it happen. That's why I'm starting the process. We're not going till summer of 2025. I'm starting this process so early so that I can make this monthly payment a manageable thing for students if they have to pay their own way. I know there's going to be kind of everything in between for different families. Lastly, I can, like I mentioned, I can pull a few strings, and one of the things that we get as teachers to organize these trips is rewards. So right now, my account has 960 rewards points. And basically, those rewards that we get, this is from previous trips I've done, I can use that for free travel. So, for example, this is enough points for me that if I wanted to hop on a trip to Greece or Spain or something like that, it's darn near covers every dime of that cost for me. Of course, I get also a very much discounted price. I spoke to the people at EF, because one of the things I said is, if I wanted to go to Iceland this summer, I could go. I could pool my resources and figure out how to make that happen. I don't need teenagers to take me. And because I kind of am in that place in my life where I can meet my travel goals without EF's help, in other words. This is really about trying to create experiences for students. And so what I decided to do is, rather than taking a free trip to Greece or Spain, right, I would much like to turn that into cash value and donate it to a student. So one of the things I'm going to do is my 960 points is equal to $1,920. And my plan is to turn that $1,920, that actually is not cash value to me, it's travel value. But I can knock the total balance down for one student by $1,920. So it's essentially take nearly $2,000 off of the cost of the trip, which will bring this monthly payment down in the neighborhood of $160 or so. So it is with what I have and the resources I have available to me, that is the best I can do personally. But I hope it helps at least one student who maybe thought this was out of reach get there. More details will be forthcoming in the coming days if students are interested in that opportunity. I do want it to be need-based, so financial need, that's going to be honor system. I'm not going to dig into people's finances and guess whether they actually have a financial need or not, because that can look different for a variety of reasons. And there is going to have to be some sort of, I don't know if that's going to do probably like an essay, where students talk about like why are they deserving, what is this trip going to mean to them. And two, I am making a little bit of a sacrifice. I would love to take a free trip to Greece or Spain. Creating that experience for a student just happens to be more important to me. But since I'm letting this go, that is a gift and a sacrifice I'm making. I just need to know that when the students get home from this trip, that they're going to do something to pay that forward. Obviously not with money, because not having the money is the need in the first place. How are they going to pay that forward? By being a model citizen, taking action in their community, etc. That's essentially how the essay would be structured. I will not be the one selecting which student receives a scholarship. I'm going to put that in other people's hands. But anyways, so to enroll, I'm hoping to get 20 spots. Please, 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 if this is something you want to do, get your name in there before November 3rd. First of all, if you're this person who might be applying for this, you also want to leverage the $200 discount. However, to even be eligible for the scholarship, I do need you to just pay the $95 enrollment fee, get your name in as a traveler. From that point on, I will work with that group of students and travelers. For whoever wants to apply for that scholarship, we will find a way to help that process along relatively soon. Okay? This is the information. You can scan that QR code or use this URL right here. And away to go. If you have any other questions, please, please, please reach out to me ASAP. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.